Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Adotemi. Today's video, I'm going to take you through information sources. And let us first start by defining information source. Information source is any material, records or document that provide data or knowledge on a particular subject. They serve as foundations for research, inquiry, and decision making across all the academics, professionals, and every context. Like, information sources can vary in types, forms, formats, and the accessibility, and they can be classified in different ways depending on the nature of information they provide and how they are used. So let's look at the types of the information sources. There are three types of the information sources, but for this one we are going to leave the tertiary information. Let's talk on primary source and the secondary source. Primary source is direct oral first-hand piece of evidence created at a time of the events or by someone who directly experienced the events or the phenomenon. It has not been altered or interpreted by others and stand as an immediate piece of information. Then secondary source is a secondary source is one that interpret, analyze, or summarize the primary source event, and it is one step removed from the original material and often provide a broader perspective or critical insights into primary data. And the characteristics, let's look at the characteristic of the primary sources. And once the primary source should be original, should be originality, and should be raw data and immediate events, time related. So what does I mean to be originality? The originality mean these sources are the first to provide what? They are the first to provide informations about a particular event or subject. They are unaltered, direct records that offer original thoughts of a raw data. Then raw data means primary source often present raw or unfiltered information. For example, I can say a scientist's original lab note might have data that could later be analyzed and interpreted in a secondary source. Like somebody doing a practical in a lab, that person is having a raw data and he will go again to interpret it. That one is now what? Will go on and now the secondary. But when you are carrying out the practical, you are doing the primary source of what? Of information. Then if you say an immediate evidence, it's like there is no interpretation or analysis from another person. The source itself is the evidence. When I say it is time related, meaning they are closely tied to the moments in which they were created, making them especially valuable for understanding, like the historical, cultural, or the social context. Now let us first go and look at the example of the primary source. Once is the document. Like the documents is like the example, there are historical documents, or legal documents, such as court cases, or government legislations, and the personal letters or diaries. Those are examples of documents that I'm talking of. Then the creative works. Creative works are the normal poems and artworks created during a particular period. For example, I can say a Van Gogh painting. That one is what? One of the example of creative work. A song or musical composition form, especially like for example, maybe civil rights movements in 1960s during the Bob Dylan's music. I can state that that one can be example of creative works. Then oral history and interview, like the testimonies or the interview with the individual directly involved or witnesses to the events. That one is what? An example of. And the antifacts example, I can give you like the tools, clothing, and everyday objects from a specific culture, or the history. Like I can say like the scientific data. I was saying scientific data, they are the raw data from scientific experiment. Like when you are carrying out a practical in a lab, the original laboratory notes, all the field studies, you are doing your field studies, and also the data sets from survey can be one of the example of scientific data. Then let's go to let us go and see the purpose of primary source. Like the purpose of the primary sources, I can say like they are the raw evidence, research foundations, insights into context, and direct connection. When I say like the raw evidence, and when I talk of raw evidence, they offered and filtered and immediate access to past or present, providing the first-hand outcome or data. And when I say research foundation, primary sources served as the what? The cornerstones of the original research, where scholars can gather direct information to analyze or interpret. And insights into a context means they allow researchers to understand events, figures from the perspective of those who live them. When I talk of direct connections, meaning for historical research, oral primary sources connect directly within the events or figure and investigation, making them the invaluable in the what? Uncovered. Let us first go and look at the roles of primary sources. The roles of the primary sources. Primary sources are essential in the fields that require the original data or first-hand account. They are invaluable in the quantitative research, especially in the history and sociologies, where understanding personal experience and direct evidence is paramount. Like researchers uses primary source to test the hypothesis or explore new angles of the analysis or gain direct evidence from the argument. Now let us go and look at the pro and cons of primary sources. And the pro and cons of primary sources, let's start with the pro. Pros meaning the advantage and cons meaning the disadvantage. Like the pros, offers direct access to the past or first-hand account, provides the authenticity of the original thoughts and raw data, facilitate new insights, and what? The original analysis. The cons are the disadvantage, which often required interpretations and the contextual knowledge can be incomplete, might be difficult to analyze without the background. Now, in conclusion, primary sources are essential for obtaining direct and immediate evidence from the time period or the phenomenon being studied. They provide the foundational data or accounts needed to form a new site theories or conclusion. Thank you for watching. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe so that you'll be notified with any things that I will be uploading in my channel. Thanks for watching.